All right, welcome to the Rocket Launcher Podcast Under the Weather Edition. I'm going to do my best, but if I sound weird, yes, I am recovering from a cold I didn't really get a chance to get started because I was really attacking it head on. But that's okay. I am here. I'm still here. My co-host is still here. I am Supreme King, your co-host. This is episode 73. I'm all out of whack. And my co-host, his name is.
It's your guy Obesus.
I hope you're doing better than me. I'm okay.
Hey, you know my allergies always go crazy. I just don't breathe out of my nose.
But I've been overdosing on citrus as much as I could. I got all the juices, the pulps, the orange juice, the grape juice, the cranberry juice, actual grapes, a bunch of apples, every little thing I could do. And I will say, like, I did skip the worst parts of a cold. Normally, like, I'm the person who knows how to get rid of it in like a matter of 48 hours at most, but I haven't really had the chance to go get all of my remedies. I only got like the main thing, which is usually the last piece of the puzzle, which is orange juice. But it's all right. It's all right. Y'all don't need to hear about me suffering. I'll pretty much sound way better next week. You all are here for a podcast, at least something to hang out and play games to real quick. Too much is on the agenda this week. So much of the silliness was happening. I'm probably going to start with the most breaking news, which is like this Last of Us Part 2 Remastered. And then we'll go right back to earlier part of the week, the news that had came out right after last week's show about the Game Awards, the nominees, all of that. We'll run through a lot of that. We'll talk about Suicide Squads at some point because it was just kind of hilarious to me. It came back and attempted to act like it was something different while it was still the same thing. And then probably just ended off with a nice little quick indie direct coming from Nintendo. So please leave a like on this video and subscribe if you haven't already. I was very close to like almost quitting because I was not feeling so good, but I'm feeling a lot better today. I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna be, but I'm a lot better today. And yeah, we're gonna get right into it. Last of Us Part 2. You know, big deal game for Naughty Dog. A lot was going on with Naughty Dog. I guess I could mention real quick because as more of these people drop off, I think it's going to become less and less news. But Naughty Dog did lose an executive as well this week. Christian Geilerin. Hopefully I said that right, last name. Sorry if I didn't. 17-year veteran. Gone. So for everybody out there who wants to say these are all retirements, the third one, I guess maybe it is. It's one crazy coincidence at this point, but this person took some blood with him, I guess, because here comes Last of Us 2 Remastered. They decided to come out with this thing anyway. I really believe that this was still supposed to have factions possibly attached to it as some like big bundle thing. And factions we already knew was kind of put on ice, stopped indefinitely. We don't even know if it might actually come back. I think it might. I think it's going to go through the same type of treatment Suicide Squads is going through, which we'll get to later. But yeah, they announced this like yesterday officially, or today, this morning officially. I think it was yesterday. Like it was, I guess the information behind it was leaked the day before or 2 days before, and I don't know if they just decided to rush it out just to minimize like bad PR or something, but I don't know how bad you can, or how much you can minimize here. But yes, it's going to come out. They do have an actual solid date for it. It's going to be January 19th, 2024. Yeah, and it's going to come out. The difference with this one is they're not necessarily treating it like how part one was, where it's like, no, this is a whole new thing. Is with this one, you actually do have the option to do the $10 upgrade. I think that might have been like a last minute change or something. They went back to that, which is probably a better thing, even though I feel like it at this point, just to save like PR, you might as well have made that free and just made it update and not even said nothing to nobody really. Because everywhere I see this thing kind of looks like it's getting, dislike bombed, talked about in a negative way. I don't see any positive things about it. I mean, say what you want about the game. I'm right there with you when you want to talk bad about the story. Gameplay, I have to say the gameplay is still very top notch. I'm not going to downplay the gameplay itself. Story, it was just some very bad choices there. Clearly bad choices there. But it's back. It's showing its ugly face again. How you feel about this, man? Are you more excited about this game? Are you finally gonna be like,
no. So okay, like we mentioned before where I said I understood what they were trying to do with the story, and even though I didn't think it was executed well, as a person who likes storytelling, I thought of different ways they could have executed what they were trying to say. With that said, I still think why? Like, why are we? What is going to be upgraded to the next gen? Like, what's going to be different? Because the current gen, they can't even handle doing like performance and fidelity mode. So, like, what's going to be different that justifies them releasing this?
Well, they claim they added a couple more features. I think one of them was they got a new survival mode or something.
You could have just sent down an update for the last one with that.
Yeah,
like you could have updated the last. There wasn't a reason to be like, here's a new one to give us back $70 more. Like that is just a cash grab. Move it broke.
Yeah,
they're just making broke moves.
Yeah, it seems really strange. I don't know how many more games at this point that they can go dig from the PS4 library to bring up outside of the Bloodborne. A lot of people was calling for it. All I'm saying now I'm gonna sound like the bad guy, but here's all I'm saying. Every time you do this, you might as well go ahead and axe another. You might as well axe. I'm still sick. Another executive every single time. You bring another one back, go ahead and chop another executive's head off. I'm just saying. At this point, we need blood for every last one of them. At this point, we need blood for the rest of them. We cannot just allow this to happen. Period.
It's clearly a cash grab. One, two is just I don't know. I feel like you're moving resources away from producing something new that should be really good. By just going, hey, like, clean this up. Like, it's just like, focus on the new thing. Do the new thing. Instead of wasting resources. I don't get it.
It's pretty strange. I'm not understanding why they're still going there at this point. Because I thought at first that even when they were first doing director's cuts and remasters and stuff, that it was to fill the gap in 2021. That's what I thought it was for the most. Because like shortly after that, that's when they had Horizon, Gran Turismo, and God of War come out. But before that, they really was heavily relying on Deathloop. It was just kind of crazy how much they were spamming Deathloop. And then I think like Ghostwire Tokyo was pushed back. A lot of the exclusives was pushed back, and so they was just popping out these like remasters in 2021, like left and right. It was Ghost of Tsushima. It was Death Stranding, and the thing about those two is they really had a little bit more content added to it. Like it was like Ghost of Tsushima had the thing called Iki Island, and yeah, just a bunch of different stuff. And I guess they did the same thing with Uncharted, right? Lost Legacy and Uncharted 4. They kind of packaged it together. If you only owned one of the two games, you could have done an upgrade to have them both with their upgrade fee, technically.
That's the thing. If it was, here's for whatever reason, we're going to release Last of Us 1 and 2 packaged together, sort of
Yeah,
thing with that Ellie DLC, I get it. Like that, I understand. I still think it's a cash grab, but I understand the logic, like collection stuff. Some
yeah,
people who, like, if they didn't play the original for whatever reason, or they were thinking about replaying it, and now it's like, here's this collection version, it's like, well, yeah, I might as well grab that, right? I get that. I don't understand. Like, I don't understand what this one, how different it's going to be from the PS4 one.
well, it's funny you
Like,
should
what?
mention the whole collection thing, because this is still coming at a time when the retail stores are trying to do away with physical media.
Yeah,
And so, if anything, those people want the physical version. Now, it's not hitting the games as hard as it's hitting like DVDs and stuff, but it's like, you know, that's happening
yeah,
next year. But yeah, it's here. I have the PS4 version. I actually was one of the people who got it for like $10. I have no reason to update. What's actually funny too is you probably will still get the whole haptic feedback update with the controller itself, but there actually was a patch update for the PS5 for this game, which allowed you to play at 4K 60 before. They did it really early on. So
again, what's the difference? Like,
you'll be able to play the base game at 4K 60 with that patch, and you didn't have to pay anything else. The only other thing is I could think of is just their little mercenary mode, or whatever they call it, their survivor mode, where you just go through the hordes of enemies and a whole bunch of like behind the scenes stuff that they just recorded real quick, because they were just like, here's hours of commentary and the making of, and he'll show you some boards and stuff that was cut from the
you gotta
game.
put that on YouTube.
Yeah, they just kind of it reminds me of like the DVD days. Like they really did pull out like some of the like director's cut DVD type content, where it's just like this like fake documentary that they usually have, behind the scenes content stuff, the making of content. Like, it's that stuff that they're throwing in the game. And I'm like, I don't know if it's just going to be in the menu somewhere, probably. But it is useless content. If you've played the game, I remember when the game first came out, it was very, very divided. Very mostly negative when the leaks came out. By the time it came out itself, a lot of people were a little bit more like accepting of it, of what it is. It's still a head scratcher, because to me, I'm like, why wouldn't you at the very least wait until the show came out to do this? Like, it would have made a little bit more sense. You might have given the factions game a little bit more time, but apparently, like, the HBO show is set to be released. So Last of Us Part 2, Season 2 or whatever for HBO is set to come out sometime in 2025.
Well, then this should have came out sometime in 2000.
So yeah, I wouldn't. It would have given it some time to breathe. It would have been like, oh, it's not really that fresh in people's minds. But yeah, I don't. I don't even know what they would actually need to remaster either. Like, I think it is a clash grab. It does speak towards the behavior of Sony or whatever, or at least the executives that are still there right before they all get axed. I don't care who else you need to axe. But go ahead and ask some more people at this point, if this is what you're going to still continue to do after you've already like made certain cuts, right? I don't know, but yeah, that's happening. It is what it is. I have the first game and the second game as the PS4 versions. I have no intentions on upgrading ever. Someone will have to like quite literally just give it to me in order for me to upgrade. But yeah, more power to you if you go for the $10 upgrade or something. I don't know. It's, you know what's actually funny though? Yeah, I don't even know if I should say it. So the PS4 version of Last of Us 2 has 2 discs. And I don't even know if you know where I'm going with
Oh,
this.
I do.
So, when does this come out? On the 19th? I'm going to report back on the 19th and see. Report back in the podcast after the 19th. I'm going to make a note of it, if the upgrade works with both discs. And if it does, you already know what I'm going to tell them to do. So I'm going to come back to this later, and we could probably move on from the Last of Us thing. Let's go ahead, since we on we on PlayStation like early. I'm sick. But another thing came out from PlayStation, this actually came out. The other thing don't come out for like a couple more months. Bear with me, guys. I'm going through it, I guess. PlayStation Portable. My co-host was day one. He was out there at the midnight release. He spent the night out there.
I wasn't.
And the PlayStation Portable is live. It came out. My co-host is going to give you
I don't
his
have
first
one.
impressions.
Like, before people start really trying to hear, I don't have one. There was no reason for it.
You ain't got no first impressions, man? Oh, man.
I do have a first impression. It was pointless.
Well,
there's a reason for it.
The funny thing about it is, it's not pointless to everybody, apparently, because this thing did sell out, but it may not have gone to all the people, because it looks like the scalpers have gotten their hands on this. That's right, the scalpers are back.
Like, at some point, this thing is mainly just for collectors, people who like to have all of it, right? Like, all the technology, which I'm not hating on. Like, if you want all the technology, you have all the technology. So that's what this was probably for, and then now, like, there's no reason to scalp it. But whatever.
Yeah, so you can either wait for it to go back in stock or head over to eBay. The thing is running on average at like $350 on eBay, from what I was looking at. And there were actually some people bidding and stuff. I saw that, and so yeah, that's a thing. To
be honest, it was something I in a way considered, and let me explain why. It was because the main game I'm playing right now is Sea of Stars. And Sea of Stars is on, I'm playing it through PlayStation, right? And it's like a JRPG style sort of game, which would also probably look good handheld. That's what you imagine for like handheld games. So it would have been a way to lay down, play that, and watch TV at the same time. But that's honestly what it's for. I'm not going to be like I wasn't going to get this and play Spider-Man off of it, right? Like, that's not what it was for. So that's where it was like a consideration, but then it was like, nah, at that point, I might as well just get like a ROG or the Rogue Ally or something like instead, but whatever.
The Rogue Ally does have these features or whatever. I hadn't really had a chance to play it past my initial testing stuff, but it looked just fine. I didn't have any problem with how it was looking. The main thing I was like, if I was to play it and play through the PlayStation, the main thing I was playing was Crash 4, It's About Time. Okay. Same reasons I didn't want to play my best of the best stuff in that form factor. I would rather play it on the television. That's just me. But Crash is like somewhere in the middle. It's not like, it's like right in the middle. Yeah. It's not the best of the best, but it's not really indie either. So I was like, okay, that's a good example. But yeah, this thing, if it sold out, I don't think a lot of people is going to be able to get it before Black Friday, unless you do go on eBay, or if they have some more surprise drops, which Best Buy is known for doing that. But yeah, the other handhelds that are a little bit more powerful, they still do the same thing. If you are that person out there that's trying to like penny pinch the most that you can, there is still that Logitech device that will give you the streaming powers of both the PlayStation and Xbox and PC. So you might have a little bit more value there, but I understand this is probably more for the nostalgia anyway. Anybody doing this just wants that for that reason.
Yep.
Interesting though, some of the tech channels that are out there that do their comparisons, They showed that as of right now, performance wise, if you have one of those Apple phones with the backbone, it's actually better than the portable. And then the backbone for Black Friday is on sale for $69.99. It normally retails at $100. So just putting that out there for anybody who has the Apple
You know,
setup.
something else I consider getting.
If you are already having, because buying an Apple phone might be a big stretch, but if you already have the phone, the backbone is $69.99, and it actually has a better performance than the PlayStation Portable as of right now. So that's no shade. Go look at all your favorite tech channels. They're gonna tell you the same thing. So just to keep that in mind, if it's really just about penny pinching, looking at what, $70 extra, you could play that way. But yeah, it is real. The PlayStation Portable is here. I wonder how long it's going to take them to put it in stores. I have been seeing the PlayStation 5 Slim, I guess, even though that's not the official name. I've been seeing those in the bundle. The COD bundle is in the stores technically. Not too many people have taken all of them, but I've seen those go into the stores right away. So technically that's new, and it came out right away. So it sounds like they're trying to get the stuff in the stores a little bit more often, but we'll see. Last piece of pure PlayStation news that I think I have here. We're also finding out that Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic remake is like 2 seconds away from being officially like announced as being canceled. It hasn't been official, but it's just gone. That's just it. For anybody who was looking forward to that, I feel bad for you, I guess. But yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah, I think that was one of those games where you really shouldn't have even announced it until you actually had something concrete done.
Right. It's like all they had done was that little cinematic trailer.
Yeah, they should have really just had something more concrete. They did not need to show that yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, you were looking forward to it.
Ever since Star Wars 1313, we used to be disappointed. It's fine.
Okay.
I still hold a grudge over that. That was the game that was going to be fantastic. Where you played as a bounty hunter, trying to escape this prison planet, and they like showed it off, and it just looked so good. And then Disney bought it, like Lucas Art. It was just like canceled. Like, the game just looked great. It was just canceled. Done. We don't care. We're throwing it away.
All right. Well, for anybody out there, don't worry, because Nintendo Switch has the old one. Don't forget, you could go play the old one on the Switch, portable, whatever. I think it's also on PC. I don't know, probably.
Yep.
But you remember they announced it there first, like, hey, y'all got the remaster? Well, we got the original. Nothing beats the original. That's what everybody's saying once they go see the movie. So it probably would have been the same thing. So you guys can still play that. You can, just so much Star Wars lore. Still got Jedi Survivor. It's been patched up, bandaged up at this point. Very big game on my Black Friday list. I got a bunch of games that I'm still going to buy. That I have a bunch of them I already actually bought. That's over here that I'm going to do a video on the second I feel better. But yeah, we could probably move on. Next topic. Let's go by what's recent first, because I think this is kind of interesting. Suicide Squads. My co-host's game of the year is back. His other game is back.
All right, this is a whole Warner Bros. Discussion. So basically, first of all, Warner Bros. Did mention that they were like, we are going all in on live service. Like, we are turning our biggest franchises live service. Is what we want to drive engagement and monetization of longer cycles. Was their quote. and that has a lot of people worried about Hogwarts 2. Like if they release a Hogwarts 2, are they going to make it live service now because they want to turn everything live service? Uh, Now there was that job posting about Wonder Woman, right? But apparently they
Yes.
did clarify that the like Warner Bros came out and said, uh, it is a single player game, fully single player in an open world. There is no live service elements in it. Like they straight up said that about Wonder Woman. It was like you play as Wonder Woman, doing Wonder Woman stuff. Basically, is what they said.
Okay.
So they clarified that one, and I think it's because it's not one of their biggest fans. Because as you see, they're ruining the rest. So Suicide Squad killed Justice League, right? They're ruining the Arkhamverse by they took the game away and they released it with like a fancy trailer that basically was like, oh, we didn't do anything different. Like it's still the same thing. It's still a 4-player Fortnite style shooting game where for some reason the character Captain Boomerang, who has the word boomerang in his name and by lore uses trick boomerangs, is going to rely on a gauntlet that gives him the Flash's abilities and Black Mass's guns. Like this is where it's like ruined. Like they just didn't care about the kid. They just picked Suicide Squad. They said they want to like be able you could swap in and out what character you are going forward. So they're gonna add extra characters, but it's really just gonna be a DC Comics character skin, and all they're doing is shooting.
Oh
Right?
yeah.
It's gonna all the acrobatic characters are gonna move like Harley in the game, where it's basically Spider-Man. All of the strength characters are gonna move like King Shark in the game. All of the other characters, if they're like more tech based, they're gonna move like Deadshot with the jetpack and guns. And then if they're not tech based, they're gonna move like Captain Boomerang. But they're trying to clean it up by saying they're using the weapons and gear of other villains as well. But it's like, but why does that take away from their identity? Right? Like Deadshot using guns makes sense because that's who he is.
Hmm.
King Shark should not be using a gun. Like apparently all of his melee stuff is on like charger. Like he has to charge, and then other than that, he's like shooting. King Shark does not use a gun. Captain Boomerang does not use a gun. He doesn't need to use a gun. He has Boomerang. Right? This is basically Batman using a gun. Or Batman using darts instead of batarangs because darts are available. Like, he wouldn't do that. So the game just looks dumb to me. It upsets me. Uh, Not a day one buy. It's probably going to fail. And this live service part is going to kill it. And then just like Marvel's Avengers, is probably going to get canceled after like a year.
The thing that I noticed, because I watched this 19-minute video, they really at least chose not to talk that much about a lot of the live service stuff as much this time.
Of course.
Because before it was like you could change all the colors in your guns and customize the gun. It was just really all about the gun for a good portion of it, and they kind of just really dialed back on that. I do think it's still there, but I think it might have gotten like the treatment that some of the other games had gotten, where, or like the factions game, for example, like where it seemed like they might be trying to take the live service part out.
They're not. It's they keep trying to stress it's purely just cosmetic stuff. And I
Yeah.
can tell you they're not because if you pre-order it, uh they even said in the pre-order you get something that has to do with the battle pass. So
Well.
it was a Justice League. I remember because that's what made me like when I re-looked at it and it showed the pre-order because I didn't really watch the video because I knew it was just going to be more of the same stuff. But when see if I can find it.
Well, I think they're
Pre-order.
attempting to make it like less egregious, like not as much in your face as it was before. Maybe, I don't know. I'm just trying to like understand. Well, what would have been the reason for the hiatus? Because it looked like they were good to go
They were
before.
polishing some stuff. That they admitted that they even said it before, but they took it down. They said, "Well, you're not changing the core game. Is just we're polishing stuff, so it just wasn't ready to be released
Uh,
in that time frame." And they're hoping people didn't just get mad at the live service, and then they figured they could probably remarket it. But yeah, in the deluxe edition, You get the full game. You get some Justice League outfits. You get 3 Black Mask Notorious weapons. So it's just whatever the weapons you have, they're going to be designed like what Black Mask would use, which he just uses white guns. Squad Gold's weapons dolls. I don't know what those are. 1 Battle Pass token. And with an asterisk next to it because it says Battle Pass token redeemable for premium Battle Pass access seasons 1 through 4 Battle Passes subject to availability. 1 Battle Pass available per season. So basically it's you could use this token either for the first, second, third, or fourth season if they make it to 4 seasons. That's what they're saying.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the game is practically dead on arrival.
Yep.
It will get like maybe a few diehard people to play it in the beginning, but
if I
it's
hear
kind
that
of a
the
shame.
story is like really really solid, I'm a DC fan. If after it comes out and it's reported like the live service stuff doesn't get in the way and it's just a fun shooter in the DC world, I'll try it on the cheap. I'm not buying this right away in any means, but like if I hear that it is a live service, really just focused game, then yep, I'm skipping this one. And it sucks because I'm a DC fan. It should have been like it's DC, it's Suicide Squad. I like them, and it's in the Arkham universe. Like I don't understand how you get it wrong, but it just sucks that like if I skip it, right, I'm skipping the last time Kevin Conroy voices Batman.
Oh yeah.
That's what sucks. It's like this is his last performance, and I'm gonna just skip it because Warner Bros. Decided to ruin it. Fire all of them too.
Fire all of them too. Oh no! Oh man, we firing everybody. Speaking of which, I'll just make a quick thing here, and then I'll keep talking about Suicide. I don't think this is big enough to be a topic, but apparently. Amazon Luna is feeling the effects as well. Amazon, of all people, Amazon is also laying off people, or they laid off some people in their gaming division. Amazon, of all people, needing to lay off some people, but hey, they treating them just like the warehouse workers. I guess they got rid of some of them.
You know what? We talked about this being always negative. Let's actually throw us out the positive. Amid all of the layoffs, the Persona 5 publisher Atlas raised salaries.
That's pretty cool. I was saying before, they got that Game Pass money. Some of their hottest releases that just came out, Persona 5 Tactica.
Tactica apparently is doing really well. They got announced already 2 games coming out next year.
Yeah.
Now, unfortunately, for people getting excited for Persona 6, it's not that. It's Persona 3 Reloaded. And it's apparently okay. It's hard to describe, but for a lot of Japanese games, when they have like multiple versions of like the game, they have the strict gameplay one. Then they make like a horde fighter one. Then they usually make like an offshoot, or like a regular fighter, like a 1v1 fighting game. And then they sometimes make a rhythm game. It sounds like they're going to be making a rhythm game for one of the Persona series.
Oh yeah, I can dance.
Like, they used to have like it was like Persona 5 Dancing in the Starlight was one of them.
Just Dance Persona 5 edition. They had you doing dances to all these songs.
Essentially, yeah. Which Persona 5 soundtrack, I know people who don't play video games. Like they don't play video games who know the Persona 5 soundtrack because it was so well put together.
Excuse me. Sorry.
But yeah, they were able to make raises, and Sega said, based off of the success of the Sonic movies, they're considering Yakuza and Persona movies. I don't know how well those will go because they're so story driven that like doing like a movie that's gonna be 2 hours is gonna like you can't take the Persona story that's like 180 hours and shove it into 2. And I feel like there's too much lore in the Yakuza games to shove it into like a 2-3 hour movie. So we'll see, but that's what Sega's considering. But yeah, not everybody's like firing.
Okay.
So, there's that.
Give me a second. Sorry. I muted myself last time.
You muted yourself again. I got you.
One second. One second.
Uh, Mute yourself.
My bad. Okay. So I muted myself on the recording. I didn't mute myself. Like I'll have to mute twice. My bad. Maybe you might hear it. They won't hear
Oh,
it. I apologize.
well, say
But
something because I just like stopped talking. It sounds like you all coughing on the podcast. Okay, all right, I got it now. But oh yeah, Sega's doing that. Atlas gave raises, so not everybody's letting people go. Uh, if we want to talk about companies, 2K needs to let people go too. Let me rant about that really quick. So,
oh boy.
2K decided to ruin WWE. WWE 2K23, they just released a new patch. In this new patch, they blocked modding for being uploaded to community creations. So there's this one dude, what's the status, who like constantly, basically, they would lock certain character models behind uh their My Factions mode, where you can only access the character in My Factions, and it doesn't even if you did unlock it in My Factions, it doesn't release it to the rest of the game. They've also locked characters into the career mode, which this one isn't an infinite amount of time. It actually ends as like a story mode, and they
Mm-hmm.
lock some of their like created characters behind that, and you can't use them elsewhere. Even though the story mode kind of ends in a place where you could just take that and move it to your universe mode and continue. And they're like, nah, you can't access our characters. So they did that.
That's crazy.
And some people also would take the in-game models, but like use mods to update their look and make them look current and upload it to community creations. Well, that's blocked. Can't do that anymore. So any of the characters that are already pre-existed, they're fine, but they can't upload new characters that use like in-game model, hidden by faction models, modded arenas, anything like that. You're not allowed to upload anymore. So basically, they just like cut the legs off of the modding community, which most people consider is the only thing that actually kept the game alive. So they're making it to where if you want the new version, you gotta buy the new game. If you want updated models, you gotta buy the new game. If you want to play as a wrestler who's been fired, too bad. You're not allowed to do that anymore because they're also blocking some of those as well.
And we can't play Chris
As well as I
Benoit.
saw something that said, yeah, but basically I also saw something that said it blocks like copyrighted images as well. So it's like you want a Bugs Bunny logo? Nah, canceled. You can't
That's
upload
dumb.
that. Like there's no uploaded. Like they're cutting the community. It's like you can play who we put in the game, and you can create a character based off of what we allow you to put in the game. And if you don't like it, get the next one. If you want to update, is what they decided to do. And I think they're mad because people don't want to play My Faction. And even some people said if the My Faction characters, when they're unlocked for use in other parts of the game, then they'd actually play My Faction. But because it's not, it's just pay this thing to where you have to like pay currency, unlock cards, packs, and to get the better Seth Rollins, you got to pay more currency. You're out of currency. You can either grind for 20 hours or you could just pay us $4 and everything, so you get that new Seth Rollins baby because it's a booster pack. Nobody wants to do that, so now they're like, well, fine, it's blocked for the rest of the game. You're not using these characters unless you play our My Faction. And because they've already put this patch in, that means 2K24 can start with that patch already in it. You know that's what they're going to focus on. There's still
Mm-hmm.
parts of the game that are broken, and still parts of the game that don't work. And they're like, you know what? We're gonna fix My Faction, and we're gonna make you play My Faction because that's where we get more money. So I'm done with 2K games as well. I already started feeling that way when I was playing this last one with some of the broken stuff and the fact that when I was on community creations, I could get through maybe 4 pages before the whole thing freezes and it just won't load anymore. So it's like I can't even just glance through all of the images that people are uploaded to give myself ideas for like creator wrestler outfits or things like that, or just look at like what other wrestlers they updated. If I wanted to get some AEW wrestlers and I'm trying to find a good one, I can get through like 2 of them before the community creation starts loading, and I can't get any more. So until I like reboot the game, so that's messed up. Other parts of the game is messed up. My universe mode is still messed up. It won't play through actual stories. But no, they keep updating my faction and keep removing things out of the game. But they did give us a second Bad Bunny. You know, the thing that like
Oh
they
boy.
didn't need to do. But in the second Bad Bunny, they didn't even update his entrance music with the new song. So it's still the old song. The old character model is just another Bad Bunny in the game. So, you know, thanks 2K, but I'm done with them as well. It's crazy. Again, I think a lot of these companies need to like fail so these investors get out of here and we can actually get good quality stuff again. So, like outside of the double A space, because they're the ones producing quality. So it's fine, but done with
So
2K.
yeah, before my voice started to give out again, I was going to transition to this based on seeing that Samoa Joe was actually in the Suicide Squad, their little dev interview or something. Because I think it was like 20 minutes long, and he showed his face there. I don't know who he's voicing, but he showed his voice or showed his face. And yeah, so WWE 2K 20, is it 24 or 23? That's not right now. I think it's 23.
23.
That one is going to be, or is in certain places, $20 brand new for Black Friday. And one of the games,
which version? Bad Bunny version or the?
I think
regular?
it's the base game. I don't think it's got anything special, but one of the big games that I want to get for Black Friday that I think I'm going to ultimately skip this year was the AEW Fight Forever, because it was, I don't know if it's a Tony Khan thing, but it's like they're like refusing to put it on sale.
Yeah.
So it was already kind of
The only time I hear people talk about it now is like when somebody's like, "Hey, does anybody still play this?" And they're like, "I do. It's fun." But
yeah,
like,
I just wanted to play it. Like it's on the level of an arcade game to me at this point, but it was normally retailed at 60. A lot of places had it on sale for 40. They don't want to drop it any lower than that. So you could technically go get it for 40 right now. I don't think it's worth 40. It's already kind of outdated. Excuse me, sorry. But yeah, I was like, well, the alternative is I could still try to pick up the WWE game because I ain't played it in years. But
so with you not having played it in years, there might be some value out of it where it's like, okay, this is actually, you know, it's entertaining for now, like, you know, whatever.
Maybe if I do play it for what it is, like I was looking at some of them older ones, but where the value comes in for me is the community creations. And if you're blocking the stuff, because that's dumb. I actually think that's really dumb. Like, I don't understand.
They already made it harder. Like when they used to have the old community creation like modeling, and then they like made it like worse. Like, you know, they now do body types instead of being able to like morph a lot of it the way you want. It's now like, here's these preset, here's what a super heavyweight body is. Here's what a heavyweight body. It's like they're trying to make it to where you can't make who you want, like in a way. It's just like, nah, that person's not contracted here, so they're not gonna pop up. And it's like, why do you care? Like, you already sold the game, you already made the money. Let me do it. It's like, and I think part of it too is if you can constantly update the person's look, there's no reason to get the next one unless they put in a bunch of new match types. And if they don't want to do that work, then the whole point of getting the new one is always to get updated models and updated overalls. Well, overalls don't really matter if you play all the matches. And then for the models, it's like if you could get somebody to just upload the model, you're good. And if you're on PC, you can change music and things like that. Well, they don't like that because now there's no reason to buy the new one. That's why they shut down the 22 servers like so quickly, and they're gonna probably shut down the 23 servers quickly after this too. It's just money grabbing.
Yeah, that makes it. Unfortunately, it makes it dead for me as a series. So I was really hoping for the AEW one to be better, but they were lacking in a lot of areas as well. I honestly think Tony Khan might have the same kind of mindset if he's like has some sort of creative control over that a little bit, because they just didn't have community creations at all on that side, right?
Oh yeah.
And I
Yep,
was
they
like,
said they
well,
could focus on that too.
that leaves me with the one game where none of this is an issue, which I'm actually very excited about. Which I could buy at any moment. There's no reason for me to wait at Black Friday because I don't think it's actually going down because it's already cheap. Which was the Wrestling Empire game. It was only $20. You get the PC version, you can mod it out, and you can pretty much have it all on there and just play it arcadey style. Just unfortunately, if you was really looking for, 2K graphics, maybe you're just not gonna, get the full experience with it.
Yeah.
That's unfortunate. Cause yeah, even with this game at $20, I buy a lot of Black Friday games $20 or less. I'm already set to buy a lot more that I've been looking at, but there's been multiple years where I've seen it at 20. I think one year was 17, brand new. I looked right at it and walked right past it, and it's unfortunate because I'm still a big wrestling fan, but a lot of things like it's that corporate like behavior that I don't really enjoy. We talked about that type of mentality with PlayStation earlier already with some of their stuff that they do, especially with The Last of Us 2. But it's just like that kind of just pushes you away. It's like, man, I might as well play better stuff. I don't like with the wrestling game. The funny thing about it is that one makes more sense to almost have live service elements, because it's like certain like sports games is the only ones that really do make sense. It's like you just need some roster updates, really.
The problem though is they would remove people with live service stuff, and that's what you don't. Like it'll be like, oh, this wrestler's not with this company anymore. And if it was purely just adding, updating models and adding more wrestlers, then because then you would have everybody. But it's because they would also want to remove because they're not contracted anymore. And they won't update music.
At the same time, it's like, but your audience, like, is not thinking that way at all. It's like, you really, like, there's a very, very hyperinflated artificial audience that you're trying to protect. Because your real audience is, they gonna come in there, especially the people who be in the crowds and stuff. The people be having like Macho Man and Hulk Hogan outfits on. People, I've seen TNA shirts in the crowds at one show. Yep. I've seen vice versa. I've seen when Bullet Club was at its peak. Oh my God, them shirts was everywhere. So it's like, you might as well like let people play the way they want to play. And the thing is, they would pay more. I would have bought every year if they weren't doing all that stuff. Like, the only time I really understood, even though I didn't like it, was the Chris Benoit one, when they, like, earlier back in the day. Now it seems like if a wrestler is having some sort of backstage fallout and he no longer there, you want to block him from the online community and stuff. It's like, he didn't even do nothing crazy. And the dude's still alive and a regular person. He's just simply not there, and they're just doing all that. This is goofy to me. That's really goofy. Because if I bought the game, automatically, I want the top upper half of WCW in there, WWF in there, Lucha Underground, whoever's left, a whole bunch of New Japan people in there, practically the entire AEW roster as well. Whoever I can fit, I want them all in that game. You know what I'm saying? And I want the best looking one as well. There was a guy I used to follow a long time ago, named Smack Talks, and I think he still does it. But I have long stopped playing the games. There was no really a reason for me to watch his showcase of some of the best guys, but like some of those guys was just really talented at getting those guys done very quickly too. It wasn't this half-year process that they claim the official guys got to do. Yep. They did it overnight in some cases. Some really dedicated fans. that don't have professional scanners, by the way. They just simply did it.
Yep. And then they like nerfed that. They removed other stuff. Like it's just they made it difficult to do. Uh, like they still have the whole like you can like upload a face because 2K loves that thing, but it always just, it looks weird. Like it doesn't match the rest of the look. I don't know. Like you could just tell. It's just weird.
Well, yeah, that's unfortunate. We could probably move on. Shout out to Samoa Joe again for doing, some gaming content. I guess with Suicide Squad. That's probably some really old stuff at this point.
Yeah.
But yeah, shout out to him for at least branching out. We can move on. Let me go ahead and do the middle of the road stuff now because we can get into some bigger topics after that. So shout out to Remnant 2 on the screen. I'm gonna mention it first before the footage goes off. Remnant 2 on Steam for Black Friday. You should be able to find that for $30 if you get the PC version. I believe console wise it's not going to change too much, but you actually, no, I don't know if that's true. If you on the digital stores, it looks like there's some discounts, but the Steam store has the biggest one. It's going to be $30. But if you're still trying to get the physical version, you got to go through online the same way, unless you go to GameStop, I guess. But I don't think there's a discount for the physical version. They're discounting on the digital version. So if you do want that, the PC is the way to go for the cheapest value, I guess. Other than that, middle of the road, this is the time where I talk about, Epic Games, the unofficial sponsor, and some of their games that they have for free for you every week. They are back to doing 2 games again, at least for right now. And as you remember, you don't have to have any credit card information or debit card information on the account. You just need to create an account itself. Then you can go in, claim everything. And if you don't have a PC, once you get a PC and log in, all of your games are there. I still recommend the ROG Ally as a starter if you're bridging off of the console space, right? For something that's cheaper. All right. First game from now until November 23rd is called Earthlock, and that will be available. You can go claim it right now. I've already claimed mine. And then you can also claim the game called Surviving the Aftermath. That's also available from now to the 23rd. And then from the 23rd to the 30th, I'm actually happy about this one. This is another one that I've covered on the channel before that's given away for free. Deliver Us Mars. It's a little story driven, space game. Yeah, I remember I was going to make this one video a long time ago. Never really actually got around to doing it. I didn't know how relevant it was going to be, but I knew it was going to take a lot of work because there was a lot of space games, but it was basically going to say like, here's a bunch of space games to hold you over before Starfield. Lo and behold, I got lazy. Starfield came out. Excuse me. And all these games are like irrelevant now, right? But here's one of them. Deliver Us Mars. I was looking forward to it for a long time, actually. There's also a game. I believe this is technically a sequel. I think Deliver Us the Moon, I believe, is the first one. Okay. If you really want to play it in order, but this one will be free from the 23rd to the 30th. And then we are in big Black Friday season. A lot of the Black Friday sales starts on the 22nd of this month. Some of them have already gone live. I've already done a lot of purchasing myself. But what I would say, a couple things that stand out to me is too many deals to go through. But some of the big ones that stood out to me that I thought were almost too good to be true. One of them, I was just like, man, I almost want to get it, even though I already have it. But Target is here for the win. Target has the Xbox Series X, not the S. This is the X, the big boy. That one is going to be $449 at Target, and it comes with Diablo 4 included as a bundle and a $75 gift card from Target. I've never seen a deal that good that early for a system like that.
Yeah, that's nice.
But they're giving away a really good deal there, and I think if anybody was on the fence, they should definitely jump at it for that. Because I almost got it. I was like, because I was already thinking I wanted to get a second set of the same systems and then keep it in the box for when they become just as old as the PS3 and 360 to future-proof me going out there to get somebody's cockroach-infested machine just to play this stuff if my regular ones break down. And I saw that deal and I was like, man, the same thing goes with the PlayStation 5 bundles. I thought about getting one of the bundles, but I'm going to hold my horses and just wait for more of a end of the generation sale to see if it got anything better than that. But that was just a really, really good one that I saw. Very big topic that's going to be coming up very, very shortly. But I'll mention right now, Hogwarts Legacy will be $30 at Target as well. That's going to be the lowest price you can get at Target. Target has like the best deals out of everybody so far from what I was seeing. But that one's $30 there. I believe it's going to start on the 22nd. If you're in the market for any of the next gen controllers, I believe almost everybody's going to have them at $50. I think they're already like that. All colors too. So you can go anywhere and get those for $50. I think that's all of the deals that I wrote down. There's so many more, too much to really get into. But just another quick announcement. Crash Team Rumble. You remember this game? I guess it's more of a live service game that I have not been paying that much attention to, because apparently they got a season 3, which I didn't even know about the other seasons. I just thought the game came out and I was like, oh, there it is, and I didn't even pay attention. But they're up to season 3, so season 3 will be coming out on December 7th, and they're introducing Spyro into that Crash game to do the team rumbling. You can just go do all of that. Yeah, so that's in there. I think that's everything that's going to be quick. Do you want to mention the Power Ranger thing right now? That could be quick with this, I think. The Power Ranger comic.
Amy Jo Johnson is going to be writing a new Power Ranger comic called Power Rangers The Return. It's an alternate reality where the original Rangers never quit. So they never passed the powers to anybody else. So they stayed the Rangers, they defeated Rita, but it says it came at a heavy cost, is all it says. So they broke apart, and then Kimberly, I think, ends up with Tommy, is what they were advertising. Okay. But they said basically some of the Rangers have to come back together to save Jason, who's been acting as a lone vigilante the whole time. Is the idea, and then there's been some other teases. I don't want to spoil it, but it was kind of already spoiled on Instagram, so you can just check certain people's Instagrams, and it kind of spoiled some ideas. But yeah, that's going to be coming out. Should be coming out, I think, next year.
Okay. Yes, and then there's one more thing before the big topic that I think was more of a breaking news as well. But it's not confirmed yet. It's just kind of funny, but I would like to hear your reaction to this. So, Diablo 4 I just mentioned. Apparently, there's a leak about its expansion. There's going to be an expansion for this, apparently. And the expansion is called Vessel of Hatred. You know, really nice name. Classic Diablo. But the biggest story surrounding this leak is the expansion is supposedly going to cost $90. So, yeah, Diablo 4.
That game is been over, bro. Like, I don't understand how people are still supporting it. or even playing it. Like I was so excited to get this game until I
Yeah.
saw what they were doing, and I just refused to buy it. And I don't understand how people still supported this. Like they already got in trouble for releasing a DLC that was like $40 for like an outfit or something like that. Like people got upset. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, well, they're aiming for 90, for this Vessel of Hatred. So it's funny. It was a really higher like anticipated game at one point. I remember they were really showing it off at like one of the summer Xbox shows.
It was in
And
one of my must get list, and then as soon as I saw what they were doing with it, I pulled it from that.
yeah, so I don't know. When I saw that, I was just like, man, they really just tanked their own game. I don't know. I mean, it's getting its sales somehow.
People like who were diehard are just like, oh, it's fine. It's $90 worth of excitement and like paying for it. That's why they get away with it, because Diablo 4 is still highly successful, and it's unfortunate. So, oh well.
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, that's what's happening. But yeah, it's not official yet. It sounds like it might be one of those things where it's gonna pop up just like the Last of Us 2 trailer just did. So we might hear about it officially next week, and then we can probably look at like all the trailer like dislikes and comments, because the Suicide Squads and Last of Us 2 Remastered got ripped to shreds this past week. So I would imagine when they announce this officially, that's going to get ripped to shreds as well. They're obviously not going to announce the price in the trailer itself, but people will know. People are not dumb. You know what's funny too? When they hide those details, it's like, what do you expect a person to do? Like blindly still buy it and just not realize that they spent $90?
Right? I think it's because I don't know. I feel like it's like when you announce it right away, they feel like people can get in their head and be like, no, it's not worth it. But if you've already set your mind to go get it, then I guess you just show it with whatever. I don't know. I don't know what their plan is.
Yeah, I don't know.
Their
what's
plan
happening.
is just to ruin it for people. That's all. That's what their plan is.
Yeah, well, it is what it is. But I guess we can move on to one of the bigger topics here. And I'm hoping I can have, a clear enough voice to voice the passion that I would like to have when I very first found this stuff out. Semi old news, but it's not old news. We finally got our Game Awards nominees. And this is a crazy thing. There's so many different elements here that we're gonna probably break down. And I'm prepared to just let this go as long as we need to let it go. I might have to mute myself a few times, but I'm prepared to let this probably was gonna take a lot of time, because I don't necessarily think we need to go over each and every nominee and name each thing. But
are we going to talk about the lack of a nominee?
Yeah,
is that what we're going to talk about?
We're going to probably talk about that, because one of the things that I was going to mention so the podcast, one of the subtitles I was going to actually put was Justice for Hogwarts.
Yes.
So,
bro, so hold on, let me pull up some of my tweets.
Your tweets?
Yeah, or my ex.
Well, I haven't looked at your tweets. I don't know if do they know? Do you want to let them follow you? I don't know.
Oh yeah, for sure. At Dashing Amazing.
Okay, well there you go. Y'all go follow him and go see him. He's in these Twitter streets.
Yeah, I might make a new. Twitter is a little more focused, so like, it's because like sometimes it's video game stuff, sometimes I'm talking about other random crap. So I'm probably gonna make a new X that is more focused on just like video game and nerd stuff, so y'all don't have to hear me complain about like other random things.
Yeah, man. He
like,
in
y'all
these
have to hear
Twitter
me complain about a
streets.
restaurant.
He in the trenches, 6-7 hours on the Twitter Spaces, arguing with y'all.
But all right, so.
Let me set the stage. Let me set the stage.
Go ahead.
Because I honestly, I looked at this, right? And obviously everybody's going to go for the game of year first. We all looked at the game of year first. And when I looked at the game of the year, I looked at it and I was like, I remember we had countless episodes in the past where we will revisit this topic. Okay, well, now that we got another game update, how does this fare in? Does it move another one out? What is a done deal? We even talked about the potential politics of it, right? It was like, because I said from the get-go, Hogwarts would get nominated, but it cannot win for political reasons. It's not going to be fair, but they're not going to let it win. If they do, it'll be one of them little itty bitty other awards, and it's going to be very quick where they don't give nobody a chance to say nothing, and it's right back to commercial, because they do that with some of them awards. And that's what I thought for the longest time. I thought
they said nah.
I thought that 3 games would be there for sure, which was going to be 1 for each system. 2 out of the 3 is showing, where the other one I saw, I will address the Xbox tax as well. I understand like where people are coming from with that a little bit. I do think though overall this is a bigger story that's not really focused on as much as what I've seen like content creators do with the Xbox tax thing. See, the Xbox tax thing is more of a console war-ish type of thing, where Hogwarts is not tied to one console. It was fully multi-plat basically, right? But I think the Hogwarts thing is worse than Starfield not being in the game of the year category, simply because if you go through even all the games that we were pushing in and out, even if it looks like they were not really fairly put where they are, they all show up somewhere. Like I had to really go back and just keep looking and scrolling and make sure that it's like that statement was true. And quite literally it was true. Let me explain to you how absurd this is before we get into Hogwarts. Cyberpunk 2077 shows up more than once in this awards categories. All right?
It's not even a game this year. Like
it's
literally
not even a game this
year. It should have been a game this year.
It shows up more than once. There are multiple games here where I said should be automatically disqualified because of their performance at launch, right? There were multiple ones that show up everywhere. Quite literally, Hogwarts Legacy is nowhere to be found in any category. And what makes it so egregious is you could clearly take that game and stack it up to certain games that are in categories where you know for a fact it's better than games that are in those categories. Well, and we might actually do that.
But let's mention this. Hogwarts Legacy, especially now that it just released on the Switch, is the best-selling game of 2023.
Yeah.
Like, hands down. It's not like looking it up. Hogwarts, if you look up for the game sales, best-selling games of 2023 is Hogwarts Legacy is at the top of the list.
Yeah, and Cyberpunk 2077, I'm not trying to destroy it. Maybe somebody could say, well, that's not fair now. I just felt like that's just what I'm using as an example because I'm just
the DLC is not a game release. It's DLC. Like, it's not Cyberpunk 2077 Phantom Liberty one that like Phantom Liberty is a DLC. If it was released as a separate game, then you could throw it in there. But it is DLC.
What is really absurd about it is I swear to you, they found a way to put everything on here somewhere. Like it's one of those things where it's like you know how when in wrestling, for example, when the actual WrestleMania show happens, is like we practically got a match for everybody to the point where we throw a full battle royale in there to make sure we can get everybody on the card as possible. That's kind of what you see here. It's like it's literally here. First of all, like Do you even know what this game is called, or do you know this game Pocket Bravery? Do you know that?
I heard of it, but like, not, I can't tell you anything that it's about. I've heard of the words.
Pocket Bravery, like certain. I don't want to pick on it too much either because it's like to me it's just like there are certain games here I have not even heard of, right?
Yeah.
You know what I
So
mean?
let's talk about this. So like, I re-looked at the list, right?
Yes.
This is September 2023. By
Yes.
September of 2023, the number one selling game in the United States was Hogwarts Legacy. Number two was Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom.
Yes.
Uh that was the best selling game in September. The only game that was projected to potentially beat it was Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 because everybody goes crazy
Yes.
about those. That was the only game that was considered uh high enough that it could like beat it.
Yeah.
But Hogwarts are like being the number one selling game. And let's talk about this. When you look up ratings for the game,
Hmm.
other than anything that is biased for things that have nothing to do with the game, it is 8 and above. Like everything that's about the game is 8 and above. The lowest rating that it got was a 1 out of 5, the lowest score you could get. And that was from Wired, who said, we're giving it a 1 out of 5 because we don't like J.K. Rowling done. They didn't talk about anything about the game. There was another article, they gave it like a 6 or a 7, and it was like the atmosphere is breathtaking, the scenery is amazing, the gameplay is fun. They tried to say that it gets repetitive in the gameplay, but then also said the mixing of spells is fun, which means it's not repetitive. If like you're constantly switching things up in how you tackle stuff, that is no longer repetitive. But they said all of this like it was great, blah blah blah. But then it loses points because J.K. Rowling made Hogwarts or made Harry Potter, and it's like, what is that? That has nothing to do with this game, like at all. Everything that's only about the game is 8 and above, and for it to get snubbed makes this thing feel illegitimate. Like I don't think it was going to be Game of the Year. I felt like it should have been in the nominations for Game of the Year. I still hold on that Baldur's Gate 3 is the Game of the Year. But I feel like it should have been in the nominations. And when we talk about some of these other ones, I would like to say ones where you're like, nah, Harry Potter should have been in there. Like Hogwarts Legacy should have been in this one, blah, blah, blah. And it makes the whole thing feel like it's like, why should I watch it knowing that you're letting politics play a part? That means it's not actually representative of the games. It's not representative of the player base, and it's not representative of the hard work the developers put in. It is playing politics now, and that makes it. But like, if you could argue like this game being snubbed and everything
Yeah.
is like, you could then say, well, then It Takes Two shouldn't have won because I'm sure something there got snubbed, right? It makes other things feel illegitimate if things are going to get snubbed and everything. Like you can't rightfully say, "Oh, this game was Game of the Year," because things got snubbed. It just makes it feel fake. Like I don't know, and
Yeah.
I already know award shows are fake to begin with, but it makes it feel fake.
Yeah. Because what's funny is like it overshadows the actual conversation for the Game of the Year like the actual games that are there. Because some of
Yes,
them do belong there, and some of them you just look at it like, well, there's an argument to be made that it shouldn't be. But what's really like before we even get to each actual category, it's just what was so egregious about it was quite literally everybody is here except Hogwarts, and like to make it so absurd. Like literally, when I'm looking at this list, right? One of my games that I've talked about like in the past, and is actually a Black Friday game that I've already bought that I'm going to talk about when I make the video, but Chia is here, right? Forza Motorsport and Diablo 4 is here. Mortal Kombat 1 is here, right? Hi-Fi Rush actually has a lot more, like they put more awards for Hi-Fi Rush than Starfield. Cyberpunk is here more than once. Final Fantasy 16 and 14 is here. Bro, they got No Man's Sky on one of these categories.
How? You come out this year.
Destiny 2 is also here, coincidentally enough, is for best community support. Literally, they do have Sea of Stars. They have Dave the Diver. I thought Dave the Diver was like a cool little meme like game. Monster Hunter Now, Hello Kitty Island Adventure. Shout out to Remnant 2. Remnant 2 is in a category. Armor Core is in a category. Dead Island 2 is here. Resident Evil Village VR edition is here. Horizon Call of the Mountain is here. Gran Turismo 7 is here. The bigger ones are all here. The Game of the Year ones, right? We're gonna get into that. But dude, did I mention City Skyline 2 is on one of the nominations? Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl 2 is one of the nominations here. Bro,
let's go through. Let's start going through. Let's go through and talk about. We can keep naming each one. Like, let's actually go through and talk about like where Hogwarts is.
I just got two more. I just want to say because I just think this is ridiculous. Disney Illusion Island and Party Animals. Remember Party Animals, dog? Party Animals got nominated, bro. That was the little game that's like similar to one of your games. It was like the alternative on Xbox. What was if Party Animals was
Fall
like
Guys were fighting, right?
Yeah, Fall Guys were fighting. It was cute at first until one of them threw the other one into the fire, and it kind of shocked everybody for a second. It's just like, are we serious? Hot Wheels Unleashed 2 is here as well.
Yep, let's go through.
All right.
Let's go through. So are we started with Game of the Year?
We can go from the top. Yeah. So Game of the Year is the most important one, I think. The main thing that I think a lot of people were asking or questioning a couple of these spots because I think even we said this in passing, Resident Evil 4, the remake, should probably be auto disqualified. I thought that was still one of the best games that came out. I still can agree with that. So I'm playing them right now.
Based off the games that are here, right?
Yeah.
So Alan Wake 2, Baldur's Gate 3, Spider-Man 2, Resident Evil 4, Super Mario Bros. Wonder, and Tears of the Kingdom. They are all still solid games, and I feel like if I saw Hogwarts somewhere else in like any of the other categories, like you can't argue there were like 10 fantastic games and they can only pick 6, right? Like you can argue Hogwarts maybe, like, even though it is still the best selling game, like, I mean, Diablo is a high selling game and I think it's trash. So it can't, like, you can argue it not being in this one. I don't think you can argue it not being anyway. But yeah. So those are I do agree. I don't think the remake should be, unless the remake is so drastically different from the original. Yeah. Like when they do ones where like the original was like a pixelated, like, you know, art of the 90s, and now the new one is fully rendered through where it's basically a new game with the same name. I feel like remake shouldn't be able to enter. Just for, I don't know. I just feel like it's because it's not really the game of this year. It's a remake of this year. Right? And it's a remake of a game that's already great. It's like they didn't really do anything to make it great. So it's like a little unfair because it's going to have the nostalgia factor.
I do want to address real quick the topic that's going on like social media and I guess YouTube. The Xbox tax. So have you heard this term? Do I need to explain it to you?
I've never heard the term.
People were saying Xbox like not getting, it's mainly Starfield not being in the Game of the Year category. But they've gone as far as saying like Xbox is being basically discriminated against. So when they say Xbox tax, they mean Xbox is being left out overall and discriminated against, period, because people hate Microsoft.
I don't necessarily feel that fair in this case, only because again, when we talk about like there being so many great games, and no offense to Starfield, even though I heard positive stuff, I did also hear a lot of people say the game doesn't get good until after like 40 hours. or like you have to beat the main story, and all of the fun happens elsewhere.
Yeah.
I have heard that stuff, so I feel like and like with like I feel like what other Xbox exclusive should have
Well,
been on the list?
so I kind of I want to I guess go against the grain of the Xbox fans a little bit and I guess debunk this
Okay.
if that makes sense, cuz I think that's a little bit. I understand Starfield not being in the game of the year being one thing. It does have a spot here. It's only in one category, and that was best RPG. You know what's funny? Because I thought about this segment. I was like, could we see where Hogwarts could like fit in per category? Honestly, best RPG, I think it could fit in right there because of
It
the.
can. I don't think it's the best RPG of the year though, but it can.
Yeah, so
I think the
because
best
I was
RPG
thinking about the
is
buffs,
ours.
I was thinking about how you pick your house and then you also
True.
pick, you create your character. I was like, that's very creative. I don't even know how it's just not in this list, but
It should have.
um
Yeah, it probably should. It should have been in that list for sure.
because even then, like some of these categories have 6 games in that list, and this was one of them where it had 5. And so it's like, well, quite literally, you could have put a one other game there, one other game that shall not be mentioned at this award show. But that was the only area that Starfield was mentioned. Here's how I say this can be debunked. The game Hi-Fi Rush is in these categories 5 times. It's in here for. Let me just go get
Oh,
all of them.
honestly, when we'll get to them like when we get there. But I would also say that when I first started hearing some of the negative stuff about Starfield, but
Yeah.
still thinking they wanted an Xbox game in the Game of the Year category, for a while I thought maybe Hi-Fi Rush was going to be.
Yeah, maybe Hi-Fi Rush being there probably would have been a cool thing to see if it wasn't so many games that had came out.
Yeah.
It's looking like Nintendo is the one that's gonna have 2 games in there this year. But I just want to mention real quick, Hi-Fi Rush is in the best art direction category. It's also in best score and music, which would have made sense for it to at least be there. It's in best audio design, and then it's in innovation in accessibility. And then I believe the last one, let me find it. Best action game. Now, I honestly feel like Hogwarts could fit in the action category. So we'll go all the way back. Let's
Yeah.
go all the way back. I just want to mention that for that because I don't know if that's really that's I didn't think it was that big of a snub to me if they show up. Because if Hogwarts was littered throughout here as well, maybe I would put more emphasis on that as a story. But with Hogwarts not showing up at all, I think it's a bigger story overall because just like what you said, it feels fake. It also
Yep.
feels like if a game somehow is now going to be associated with some random person outside of gaming, that all of a sudden it could be blackballed from us like celebrating its like existence.
Yeah.
It don't matter what the game is. And I know we might not. Well, I can say it. I think for game of the year, I think Spider-Man 2 is going to win for literally every reason that Hogwarts is not here at all. Honestly.
It should be Baldur's Gate 3.
Okay.
But like it should be. That's the game that came out with like no issues.
Yeah.
Uh like no real issues, has multiple playthroughs ready to go, no microtransactions. Uh the what was it called? The like pre-order bonus that you can
Yeah.
purchase just changed the design of the die that you roll
Yeah.
and didn't really do anything else. Uh no missing content, it worked. Clearly these people cared about the game. Like I feel like Baldur's Gate 3 should be the winner.
Mhm.
But Spider-Man did have some of the, as people describe it, woke stuff in there. it did have its things that probably is why it's gonna
Because not only
probably do
that,
more. But
Spider-Man was like there was a lot of stuff that was ignored overall. Like they swept a lot of stuff under the rug until you couldn't when it came down to what could have been in the same category of like the political stuff, which was the Puerto Rican flag
yep,
being misrepresented with the Cuban
Cuban
flag, right?
flag.
They
Yep.
fixed it within a week, right? And then you
And that
still
pass
had
came out quick.
yeah, they fixed it fast. And then like from that point on I was trying to pretend it never happened. And they were already pretending all the other bugs didn't happen. They didn't even address any of that stuff. They just kind of addressed that because there was no way you could like deny that, right? Because it became politics over performance. I've said this a couple times already. Politics over performance is what really mattered here. But I think anybody would have guessed that the Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom would have been one of the choices to be in this category. The fan favorite does seem like it's Baldur's Gate 3.
Yep.
Super Mario Brothers Wonder just so happened to be so good at the last minute that this is one of the games that's here. But this is where it gets very, very interesting for me because I felt like there were some of them that were a definite it should be here, and then a couple of them were here in replacement. I think this is where you can argue it probably does replace Starfield if the Xbox tax is real, and then Hogwarts Legacy especially because of everything going on outside of the game. Because Resident Evil 4 was a remake. It was already a game of the year. It was already all this stuff, right? People are hot and cold on that. I still think it could still be a phenomenal game. I'm like knee deep in the series. I don't plan on stopping. Every time they come out with another one, I'm going to be on it. There was already leaks surrounding Resident Evil 9. I'm going to be on that one when I get to it, right? I already got I bought practically all of them. But that one, it felt like it probably shouldn't have been here. I think we kind of already talked about it already. The biggest one, now this is going to be a shocker to people who really support my channel, the few of you who do. I do not understand how Alan Wake 2 is here. I'm going to be honest.
Really?
I don't understand how that one's here. Alan Wake, Alan Wake 1, and it's funny enough, I got footage in here that's going to come up eventually. Alan Wake 1 and Alan Wake American Nightmare was fun. It really was. Alan Wake 2 does not follow that formula, and there's been plenty of people who've been calling it Alan Walk 2 because the majority of the time you walk around and everything. And kind of like in the same categories of the wokeness, I guess there's some heat drawn towards them race swapping the girl who came from the game Quantum Break, which is the black girl from the FBI agent in this game.
Saga.
Saga. I'm actually going to be trying to play some Quantum Break most likely tomorrow because I want to get a lot of footage, new footage for the podcast. Because if anybody been paying attention, I've been showing like the last like 6-7 episodes the same like 4-5 games. So I'm trying to switch it up. So I'm gonna try to get some more footage. But yeah, I'm gonna play that game. And I saw her original character model and everything. She was a whole nother person. But like I think some of those reasons is why that's there, because other than that it was like another horror game in a way that you wouldn't have thought got any kind of praise on the same level as some of the other ones. Because like I didn't think that there was going to be like Dead Space, Alan Wake 2 and Resident Evil 4 up here. I thought they would just pick one. And I thought, like, if they went with Resident Evil 4, they wouldn't go with Alan Wake 2. There's no way Alan Wake 2 here is beating Resident Evil 4. Like, come on.
Okay.
For anybody out there. And it's I look at Alan Wake 2 and I say to myself, it's not better than Starfield or Hogwarts Legacy. I don't think so. Not at all. Not for a game where you play as the girl more than Alan Wake. No way.
Fair.
You know, and it's just, it's there. I'm still now I'm not turning on the game overall. I will still play it right after I'm done with Control. I'm gonna play Quantum, then Control, and then this game. Right. I'm staying true to the stuff I've already started on my channel, but yeah. Now Super Mario Wonder being here, I can accept. I'm not upset about that. I don't think it's like one of those like, oh, it should have just been one game per system. It's not fair at all. If it's good, it's good. It could be here. I thought there was a good chance of that being here. Spider-Man 2, we already had this argument a little bit. I feel like it should be automatically disqualified. It had a whole bunch of bad stuff talked about it. They tried their hardest to sweep it under the rug, and now they're actually sweeping it under the rug. And I felt like it shouldn't be here for the same reason Jedi Survivor was not here, right? Funny enough, because we're still talking Hogwarts being snubbed. Dead Space is still in a different category. Star Wars Jedi Survivor is also still in a different category. It's like quite literally that's the only game that didn't make no nomination. But if I would go with anything in this list, I do think Baldur's Gate 3 is seemingly the fan favorite. If I didn't go with that, I would say Zelda Tears of the Kingdom is very relaxing. I do enjoy playing it. I don't know if I would put it as the number one in this list though. But maybe
Resident Evil 4.
I honestly see, that's me being biased just because I'm trying to think objectively. But if I was to go with any game in this list, just based on what I would think I would have the most fun with and play with, it would probably be Resident Evil 4 first. I'm gonna be honest. It would be. I would if I was choosing just for myself and I had to choose from this list right here, I would go with Resident Evil 4. The biggest thing for me, you know what I really want to compare this to? I don't want to give away some of our background too much, but there's a place where you and me used to work where we had this thing called debriefing.
Yeah.
And within that area, we had to pick who was the top guy, right? For this show that was going to come up in about like 4 or 5 days from that time. And when it really came down to it, we used to like if you had the slightest flaw, that was enough for us to get you off of the list so we can move on to some other people, right? And if I'm going with that same mindset, that automatically takes Spider-Man out of the list, right? It takes, for me, that would take it out of the list. That's almost like the journal thing, right? And I know I got everybody lost, but like,
you feel like there's certain criteria that should remove things out of the list. Which is fair. Because
if we was to just go by the rules, Spider-Man and Resident Evil 4 will be removed. Resident Evil 4 will be removed because it's a remake. Spider-Man because of all those bugs and stuff. And the flag.
But Hogwarts Legacy getting snubbed is like saying this guy couldn't win because their relative said something bad.
Yeah, it's so, because what's so crazy about it is the behavior about this thing is everything that they're mad about. Like, it didn't have anything to do with the game's performance.
It was the opposite in the game, story-wise. Like, there is one that, like, I always feel they keep trying to call the game anti-Semitic. And I'm like, It's not like they made that comparison. Like, when I played this, a goblin's a goblin. Like, I didn't make it a person, you did. Like, that's just so weird to me. Where it's everyone who wants to complain, they were just trying to find reasons to get this game canceled to try and call it some little victory for themselves. So they're still bragging.
They lost.
They lost, and they were bragging.
The woman is rich.
But like,
And
when
she
it
don't
didn't win,
care.
there was a bunch of those people who were just like, "Ha ha! It didn't win anything is crazy. Like that's hilarious," and like loving it that it didn't win at this pretty much this artificial award show. It didn't get recognized because they're playing politics and they're mad.
But what's so
They're
dumb
happy
about it though is,
doing it. Like,
so
all right.
she already got a big payday from this game.
Yep.
She got a big payday from this game. But on
This would have
top
gave
of that,
recognition to the developers.
they announced that they were going to do the TV show where they was going to practically run through the entire thing all over again.
Yep.
And if you look at just right, if that TV show doesn't keep coming back every year, then it's going to run for a very long time. She's going to be well into retirement. Because like, let's look at Last of Us, the show part 1 and Last of Us, the show 2, right? Like look at the years gap right here. That's going to be like the average, especially if you counting like writer strikes and all this other stuff. So there's going to be like a 2-year gap at the very least, 1 to 2 year gap between each season. It was 8 movies, right? So you're talking about like the next 12 to 15 years of this? Yeah. And she's not even really involved. The machine is just doing it. Like she's not even involved. She's just sitting back. She's not going to come to the award show. She was never going to go to the award show and accept the award for the game. Like, what are we even talking about? Like, it was going to be the people who was developing. It was not even going to be her. And she gonna sit on Twitter and talk about war. She's not even going to be talking about what y'all mad at her about. Like,
this game could have been a way to remove the wizarding world from her.
Yeah.
Right? Like, this could have been a whole thing where she had no influence on it, no influence on the story. It's not her characters. And it's like something that you could still love and cherish within the universe that still holds on to some of the ideals that people feel like she turned on. It would have been away from her though. Like it was a way to like remove it from her, and instead you're punishing them. So that's game of the year.
Yeah, it's silly. The next one honestly looks just the same. I actually gotta look at it carefully. Like it looked like only Resident Evil 4 is not in it. Everything else is exactly the same. Yeah. So best game direction has everything game of the year has except Resident Evil 4. So they decided to say, "Oh, you're not allowed in this category though." But yeah, as far as direction, honestly,
what do they mean by direction?
I want to think they're talking about the story. It gotta be, or just like you like the direction that they went with the story, or the direction they went with the game. It's almost the same. I don't know. I would if you took so you're forcing me to not use Resident Evil 4. So I would say Tears of the Kingdom, I guess. Best game direction. That's what I would say. Tears of the Kingdom. I'll just go with that. For stuff that I've played.
You know what? I'll say Alan Wake 2. No, Spider-Man. I'll give it to Spider-Man for this one. I like the story a lot.
Okay.
So, yeah. Oh, yeah. But so Baldur's Gate for Game of the Year. Spider-Man 2 for this one, the game direction. Like, there was parts of the story that annoyed me, but the overall story I really enjoyed.
I kind of want to do this per category. Let me go back real quick. So for me, I was saying for the game of the year, I would have took Alan Wake 2 out and I would have put Hogwarts there, since Hogwarts isn't showing anywhere. You agree with that? So here under best game direction, what are we going to take Alan Wake out again? We can just say that. I would say that. I would take Alan Wake out.
Well, if the direction meets story, I would take out Super Mario Bros. Wonder.
Okay, yeah, I think that makes sense because it's like it's not really a story, you know.
Yeah.
We know Super Mario at this point.
Like I feel like Super Mario. Like I don't know. I feel like which of these games would be enjoyable if you didn't know what was going on. And I feel like Super Mario Bros. Wonder, you don't need to understand anything that's going on to get value out of this game. Like the rest will become repetitive.
Yeah.
Like Baldur's Gate 3 is all story, and then like the rest will become repetitive if it wasn't story. So that's why I would take that one out.
All right, the next one probably is best story, kinda. So best narrative.
Okay.
So now it's starting to shuffle up a little bit. So we still got Alan Wake 2. We have Baldur's Gate 3.
Oh, well, best narrative
Yeah.
is the story. Then best direction means I still don't understand what that means, but that's fine. We'll keep going. Best narrative.
All right. So Alan Wake 2, Baldur's Gate 3, Cyberpunk 2077, Phantom Liberty, and then Final Fantasy 14 or 16, I'm sorry. Final Fantasy 16, and then Marvel Spider-Man 2. What should win this? As far as story, honestly, Cyberpunk 2077 auto disqualified. Get that off my screen. I don't care.
Shit. Like
It's not. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it gets absurd when you start to go through these categories and you see that they put something everywhere and the Hogwarts is not there. I will replace Hogwarts with that one, like, directly.
Oh, for sure. And then winner, I would probably say for this one, for story wise, Spider-Man.
Yeah. Okay. I'll probably go that as well. I don't know if
yeah, that could get him out of here. Like Cyberpunk right away.
Best art direction. This one has.
Wait, does your list have adaptation? My list has adaptation before narrative.
Let me see. I think I have.
But by the way, game of the year, game direction, adaptation, narrative, art direction.
Let me go back. I don't think I have. That's funny because I should have it because I sent you all these screenshots. I don't. If you're going off something else, go ahead and say it because I don't think I got it.
Okay, so best adaptation, Castlevania Nocturne. Oh, so this is for the animations. Castlevania Nocturne,
Okay.
Gran Turismo, The Last of Us, the Super Mario Bros. Movie, or Twisted Metal. All right, so here's the thing. The Super Mario Bros. Movie to me was really good, even though it doesn't really, follow the game.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Bowser wants princess, Mario saves princess. I guess that's it. I would not say The Last of Us personally, and it's because I would be real, like
wasn't.
episode 3.
Yeah, well, at the same time, they did not. How can it be the best? You didn't actually explain the bloater. He just kind of appeared and gone.
Yep.
It wasn't just the third episode. They took liberties throughout the whole thing to change it. I would go with the Super Mario Brothers movie as well. I do actually have this on my list. I think our list might be a little scrambled. I had it later on, but
so
yeah.
I'll follow yours. I can scroll. Oh, all right. But yeah, so we'll go. I'll say Super Mario Bros.
Yeah, right. For best adaptation.
So now narrative or art direction, right?
Yeah, so let me just scroll back. So yeah, best art direction. Alan Wake 2, Hi-Fi Rush, Lies of P, Super Mario Brothers Wonder, and then The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. I think for me, as far as best art, it's hard. It's between Hi-Fi Rush and The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. I think I will probably go with Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom because
I would go with Hi-Fi Rush.
You would go with Hi-Fi Rush. It was more unique. It's just I think the Legend of Zelda's their like build mechanic was so innovative as well.
Yeah,
it was
now
a phenomenal thing.
I feel like Alan Wake 2 could be like not here, and I would have put Hogwarts in for art direction, and that would have been my winner.
Okay, I will put Hogwarts in here over Alan Wake.
The world so well, a lot of it just looked fantastical. Like you want to explore, you want to see this, you want to see that. The cities look good. Right, like flying around, the background just looks great. Details of the house and the paintings and like moving and like everything just felt really good art wise. This would have been the category that Hogwarts would have won.
Because I don't want to be a conspiracy about it, but you're gonna see Alan Wake come up a lot more than everything.
Yeah.
And I honestly think they were using that particular game more as a band-aid to like take the place of Hogwarts. Because
Okay.
I was looking at it so much, and Alan Wake just finally came on the screen. Like I was looking at it where I was just like, that game is cool, and it's cool for people like me who really like that stuff. But it's like they tried to make it, because it doesn't even have the fan hype. You know what I'm saying? Like it doesn't have the fan hype like some of the other games. Games that have fan hype, it reminds me of like Ghost of Tsushima, where the fan hype was around Ghost of Tsushima, but remember Last of Us got all those rewards,
Yes.
and it was like such a disconnect that didn't make no sense. But it's like you're seeing the same behavior here, where like Alan Wake is like, it's not on that level as far as like a horror game. That's the funny part about it. It's just not. It's not. Where Resident Evil 4, like, because you don't see, like, once we mention Resident Evil 4, the remake and Game of the Year, it also gets a noticeable absence if you look through all these lists. I'm like, it's not accurate. Excuse me. It's not accurate.
You had to wonder if it didn't top any of these, why would it? Because you could argue that, like, a certain game did art the best. A certain game did this the best. A certain game did this the best. But when you complete the whole package, it's this one, right?
Right.
But it should have at least been nominated. You know, that's why I didn't mind where it was like, God of War was cleaning up a lot of the individuals, but then Elden Ring won in the end.
Yeah. But even that didn't make sense to me before, because my thought process was just like, okay, like Elden Ring won, but everything that makes you Game of the Year, God of War won. That's how it looked. It didn't make sense to me.
Didn't make sense. It shouldn't have been God of War that won all of them. But I can understand saying that, like, the scenery looked better in God of War than it did Elden Ring. The boss fights were more fun in this game than it was Elden Ring. This was this was this. However, when you consider a game that has beautiful art, like fun boss fights, this, Elden Ring is the one with the complete package, right?
Right.
Something like that makes sense. It doesn't make sense in the case of God of War sweeping all the mini categories for Elden Ring to win. I get you there. So,
yeah.
I feel like, but to that point, I feel like if you're going to say Resident Evil is Game of the Year, it needs to pop up in a few more of these categories.
Yeah, it really only shows up one more time. But then, like, Alan Wake 2 shows up a whole lot. You know what I'm saying? But then, at the same time, like, Super Mario Wonder is another one that showed up, but it's not as much as Alan Wake 2 either. And it's like, I'm just sitting over here like it don't make sense to the views of a gamer. Like,
it really is coming for Hogwarts.
Yeah, because I'm sitting over here like, who out here? Because I'm a huge Alan Wake fan. But you're not about to tell me that the masses chose Alan Wake over Super Mario Wonder. You're not about to tell me that. Like, you're just not. It just didn't happen. And this still came out the very next week after Spider-Man and Super Mario Wonder. And it's on here more than the other two. You see what I'm saying? Like, it really is. It's not. It's on the screen. I played it. I'm not trying to take away from the series, but you can tell from what you see that is here as a band-aid for like the game that was supposed to be here. And I don't know if it was a Jeff Keighley call or maybe all the people sat there and they just went there. I don't know. But
they probably went there. Probably was a call from above. To be honest, though, it was just like, you can't put that game there. Pick something else.
Yeah, because it's crazy.
But
yeah. So
what's next?
I would have took Alan Wake out, like almost every category. I'm taking Alan Wake out and putting Hogwarts there. Like, I'm so serious. But best score and music. Okay. I'm biased on this, but I'll let you go.
So what do we have? Alan Wake 2, Baldur's Gate 3, Final Fantasy 16, Hi-Fi Rush, Legend of Zelda. Yes. I haven't played most of these. Like, I've played some Baldur's Gate 3. I haven't played the others to really hear the music. But
Yeah.
if I had to pick one, I'd probably pick Hi-Fi Rush because music is part of the core gameplay.
Right. That's
So if
his
the
whole
music is
point.
bad, you're not going to want to play the game.
Right. So for me, that's like almost the one I want to pick. The only reason I'm being biased is because the main reason I pick, so I'm picking Zelda.
Yep, that was my second.
The main reason why I'm picking that is because, like, the reason I got the game and I'm playing it at a slow pace is because if I had a long hectic day, I could play that game and you just walk in for a little while and it's playing the softest piano music that I just love. I adore that piano music, and that's like a huge point of me getting the game like right away to make sure I get that. So that's why I would pick it. Other than that, this
That's
category
fine. That's
should
the atmosphere. I love Pokemon games for the music and Persona for the music. Like
yeah.
it gets me going. So that's fair.
I'm taking Alan Wake 2 out and putting Hogwarts here in this category as well. I'm sorry. I'm
I
being that
would,
dude.
however, well, I haven't played Alan Wake, so I don't know what the music sounds like.
I've said it's the same generic. It's not even really there that much. That's the funny part because it's still a horror game. They're still trying to play off of like the silence, and you got to listen to all the evil people and stuff and the spirits.
So I don't know if I would have put Hogwarts here. I don't know what I would replace Alan Wake with.
Yeah,
but it's because I don't know what I would replace on here. The only reason why I would put Hogwarts is like, yes, it has music, but to me it just sounded like the Harry Potter music. Which I feel like they had like 8 movies to go off of, like actually 11 if you include a Fantastic Beasts. They had like 11 movies to go off of to make the soundtrack for it. But still, I mean, if you're saying Halloween doesn't really even have music, then yeah, Hogwarts would replace it.
Best audio design.
I know what I would actually throw Sea of Stars in here.
Okay.
For the music, that was very relaxing as I played through music. It got intense when it needed, the things like that. That's what I would replace something with.
Yo, best audio design. Alan Wake 2 is here again. Dead Space, Hi-Fi Rush, Marvel, Spider-Man 2, Resident Evil 4. I would probably go a Hi-Fi Rush. It's built to be that type of game, so.
True. Although, how was the Dead Space music? Like, I wonder how atmospheric that was, or not even just music, but like hearing the things running at you and like things like that. Like, I guess how immersive does the audio make it?
The horror games should shine in this category.
Yeah. So I would probably go with Dead Space based off of things that I saw.
Okay. The next one is pretty interesting here. Some of these I don't really care about, but I guess maybe we can be brief. So, best performance.
Can I make a joke real quick that I just thought? Like,
sure.
I saw the category best performance, and then I saw Star Wars Jedi Survivor.
Yeah.
And I was like, the game was broken, but now I realize it meant character performance.
They need to have an award for best performance like that to really showcase the games that actually is doing what they doing.
Yeah.
But one of the interesting things that stood out to me is the black girl from Alan Wake 2 is here. They're not.
Yo,
that's what I'm talking about, bro. I was like, I could like when you peep that type of stuff. I'm like, okay, all right. Same thing with the girl named Yuri for Spider-Man 2. Is that Mary Jane?
Oh, that's not. There is a girl like named Yuri, but that's Peter. Yuri Lowenthal is Peter.
Okay, all right. But I know the Milena one. Idris Elba for Cyberpunk 2077. I guess. So Star Wars Jedi Survivor was Cameron. Baldur's Gate we have Neil, and then I think that's all of them.
So real quick, so there is a character named Yuri in the game. It's one of those like Yuri is a name like Cameron or Kendall, where it's like it can go for both. It's not gender exclusive, so
yeah,
but Yuri Lowenthal is Parker.
Yeah.
I would pick Yuri Lowenthal, like, because he had to play up, like, normal Peter, the black suit, a lot of the emotion stuff. Like, I think he did a really
Yeah.
good job.
I think I will pick him too, just for
It
the
could go
pure
to
acting.
Idris. I
Yeah.
don't think Phantom Liberty. The issue is I don't think that should be here.
Yeah.
Is Cyberpunk 2077 Phantom Liberty. However, I know he got a lot of praise for the role, like
Yeah.
in Phantom Liberty. So that's probably going to
Yeah.
win. It just
Yeah,
probably going to be interesting
probably.
because they're going to probably hope that he's there to like say something.
I would give it to the Spider-Man actor, honestly.
Yeah.
And I actually thought that would have been fair, even if the game had bad performance and like a flag or two was wrong, that wouldn't have hurt his performance in the game. You know, he still would have had his performance. So I think that would have been fair to give him that. Now the next one, innovation in accessibility.
You can throw Diablo out. Like, I don't even care. Just copy up here. Diablo could go.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead. So who we got? We got Diablo 4, Forza Motorsport,
Yeah.
Hi-Fi Rush, Spider-Man 2, Mortal Kombat 1, and Street Fighter 6. I feel like it got to be a fighting game, right? Because they've been pushing to like make it accessible for everybody.
Either that or Forza Motorsport because of the accessibility controllers.
Oh yeah.
But you know what?
Yeah.
Spider-Man, they also got the PlayStation one that just came out too, right? It looks like a wheel almost.
Yes, that has it. With a lot of other like little things that you can turn on and off. Diablo up out of here. Like that could go.
Diablo up out of here.
Yeah. I wouldn't even replace it. It could just go.
Yeah.
And then the rest, yeah.
I don't really know.
Because I don't need the.
Yeah, I don't know. It could be anybody. I don't really know.
Yeah. I would be interested to hear what advancements they make for it. I know.
Yeah.
Oh, there was a game. I'm trying to remember. There was like an accessibility thing that had to do specifically with like color blindness as well.
Yeah.
That made it easier to do stuff. I don't remember which one though.
I would probably go with the Forza Motorsport one because I know they've had a good one for a while, at least for the Forza Horizon 5 version. Now this one, I honestly think games for impact is the category.
I don't care.
I feel like Hogwarts could have been in this because that game really did make a big impact.
True, but I think it did have an established like trans character in there. Bunch of races in there, a bunch of like they had a lot in there.
It was just a big moment on Twitch too, like all that other stuff. But there was still a lot of negative stuff.
I think this just means which one has the best representation.
I guess if I was to be biased, I would go with Chia. That's on this list. I'm gonna be honest.
My guess is it's gonna be Goodbye Volcano High.
Okay.
Because I know that game was about anthropomorphic dinosaurs and like leaving high school and all the sadness that comes with leaving your friends behind. And I think there was like a lesbian dinosaur couple that like was like the lead. Like I don't know. I just feel like it's gonna be Goodbye Volcano High.
So all of them was a space for the Unbound, and then Chance of Scenaire. Am I saying that right? And then it was the Goodbye Volcano High, and then Chia's the one I'm gonna pick. I'm being biased. I bought the game. Terra Neil, and then Vinba. Yeah. This is the one category.
Wait, isn't Vinba the Indian cooking one?
Probably, because I'm about to say this is the one category where I'm the least familiar. I'm only recognizing a couple of these. I think Vinba was.
It's the cooking game with the Indian family.
But like when you talk about the masses, I mean, can we keep it real? This is the category where a lot of people don't even recognize. Like,
I'm gonna be honest. Yeah, this is gonna be one of those like, winner for this, like off to the side while they're like shuffling pieces.
Yeah, and then going forward, this is where it gets kind of silly. Some of these categories, so I don't know if you really want to go. We could still go through some of them, but best ongoing game is like all the old games. Do we really care? I mean,
no.
Apex Legends is the one I would have to go with because that's
Bro,
literally every
Destiny
tweet.
isn't on here though.
Yeah, Destiny's not on this one though.
And Call of Duty Cold War, or not Cold War, Call of Duty Warzone.
Yeah, and can you really say that might argue Xbox tax on that? Because how is like best ongoing Cyberpunk well, not Cyberpunk, but Call of Duty would definitely be bigger than Cyberpunk. Yeah. Cyberpunk wasn't the best ongoing. It was just they were just trying to make it ongoing.
You know what? I would give Cyberpunk to this one just to. Oh no, I don't even want to acknowledge their work on Phantom Liberty because they should have just been that good to begin with. So never mind.
No, it's definitely not better than Fortnite, Genshin Impact, or Apex.
Yeah, it's Fortnite.
Yeah, it's not gonna beat those.
All right, best community support.
Right? No Man's Sky.
No Man's Sky, Final Fantasy 16, Destiny 2, Cyberpunk, and Baldur's Gate 3. Baldur's Gate 3.
I honestly want to say where's Skyrim at this point? Like, where's Skyrim?
Well, Skyrim isn't them doing the community stuff. That's modders doing the community.
Yeah.
But for this,
I would give it to
Baldur's Gate 3
yeah.
was like working, and they still kept like, hey, as you tell us a bug, let us know, we'll fix it.
Yeah.
They did that. They didn't put any harmful stuff in after. They've really been like just making sure the game was great. So I'd give it to Baldur's Gate 3.
Here's where they spam the award twice. So we got best independent game, and then best debut indie game, and the categories is almost the same.
Sea of Stars. There is a game missing from this.
Yeah.
Actually, that did get snubbed. Chained Echoes.
Yeah.
So when you look up Sea of Stars, a lot of this beginning talk was always, should I play Sea of Stars or Chained Echoes? Because they were considered both like really great love letters to JRPGs, where one of them was your more standard JRPG, and one of them was like story-wise a JRPG, but like did a little bit of stuff easier. They acknowledged Sea of Stars, rightfully so, but I think Chained Echoes should be up here as well. Okay. But for best indie game, Sea of Stars, hands down. That's like one of my favorite games here.
Yeah. I will go with it. If we go to the indie debut game, maybe I'll just say Venma myself because I'm not too familiar with the rest.
Well, yeah, Cocoon, Dave the Diver, Dredge, Sea of Stars, and Viewfinder for independent.
Yeah.
And then Cocoon, Dredge, Pizza Tower, Venba, and Viewfinder for indie game. I will go, I think, Pizza Tower.
Okay.
This is what I think it is.
All right.
It is. So Pizza Tower it's this very chaotic platformer where you're like a pizza man and you have to like get the ingredients for like pizza, but you're going through like all these otherworldly stuff, and it's super like constant moving, very chaotic, like excitement. So I would give it to Pizza Tower for that one.
All right. I kind of want to skip this category. Best mobile game. Do you want to go over it?
I don't care.
All right. Best VR game. I mean,
Resident Evil.
Resident Evil Village VR mode. I honestly would go over that over the rest, but it is what it is. It was too niche for my blood this year. Maybe next year. Now the next one though. This is the one I like. This category. Best action game. We got Armor Core 6, Dead Island 2, Ghost Runner 2, Hi-Fi Rush, and Remnant 2. Obviously,
there's two that I want to give, that I like have as my top.
Yeah.
Remnant 2 is the one I think should win.
Yes.
Dead Island 2 I think should also be recognized because I just also remember in a month and a half or 2 month period where pretty much every single thing just came out in a bad state.
Yeah.
They were good.
Yeah.
They were good. It was good. The game was fun. And it's like, I feel like that should, like, games coming out working, unfortunately, should be recognized above everybody else.
Yeah. I will go with Remnant 2 for myself.
Yeah, Remnant 2.
If not that, it would have been Armor Core. But I think...
You're right. This is a very solid. Even Ghost Runner 2 is a good game. This is a very solid list.
Yeah, this is cool. It is interesting how Hi-Fi Rush is placed here as a top action game.
Yeah.
I just found that interesting. And then best action slash adventure game.
This is where Hogwarts Legacy should have also been in.
Yeah, and then it looks like the game of the year, but we put Star Wars Jedi Survivor here, and we do not have Super Mario Wonder.
Yep. So I would in this. I think for action adventure, I give this one to Star Wars. Why not?
Star Wars.
But again, I haven't played Alan Wake 2, but this also feels like a spot where Alan Wake 2 replaced Hogwarts. And this is to me where Hogwarts should have won. As the action adventure game.
I would probably go with Zelda as far as the adventure side. Action side, okay. I mean, this is honestly where I would have wanted to give this to Spider-Man 2, to be honest.
Also fair.
But yeah, as an adventure, I think the adventure side here weighs more in Zelda's case than the action side weighs more in Spider-Man's case, honestly. But yeah, I will go with Zelda. But I do think Hogwarts could have been here. We could take Alan Wake out of here. There is no way Alan Wake 2 is in the best action adventure game. How is this here at all?
It does
there was
feel like
no action. That's what I'm saying. Like, they making me turn against my own game while it's still on the screen. Excuse me, I'm sorry. I apologize. Now this one, best RPG. I feel like it should have been here. I think this is where they're going to give. If they don't give Starfield this one, they probably are taxing.
Well,
because this is only category. Like, why would this only be here?
I feel like Sea of Stars was better.
You think that one's better? There might be an argument for.
Had a very solid, loving, caring story. I'm at the final boss for it. Like, I got the final part to do, but it's just been so good. Like, it's such a good game with lovable characters and things like that.
You been playing solo or with people?
Yeah, solo.
Okay. You know what's interesting about this, though? Can we really give this category to anything other than Baldur's Gate 3 and then give Baldur's Gate 3?
Like that's where yeah, you're right.
like I'm just saying, like, if because the logic behind some of these award shows just don't add up sometimes. So it's like, can Baldur's Gate 3 really win Game of the Year and then it don't win the RPG category though?
Like I said, it could have been a case where it's like, it was like the second best RPG, the second best this, the second best this, the second best this, but the only game that had it all. Yeah. Which is why it's Game of the Year, is where I can argue that. However, I do feel like when you talk about RPGs, ain't nobody doing it better than Baldur's Gate 3. You literally kind of get what you want. It's Dungeons and Dragons. So
yeah, as far as shout out to Lies of P. I'm a big fan of the Souls game. I'm not really understanding how that even made it. Yeah, I'm not understanding how it's RPG period though. Like, I've seen it. Like, what are we talking about? The weapons as a Souls game?
You're role playing as Pinocchio.
But you're still like, you don't really change nothing really. You just play a Souls game. You don't really like you don't get to choose your role. You have to play Pinocchio. You know what I mean? That's what I'm kind of saying.
It says Lies of P is a Souls-like action role-playing game.
Yeah.
Definition.
I just feel like it's the least favorable here because everybody else you can really customize, including Hogwarts. I think Hogwarts would have took this spot easily. At least they didn't insult my intelligence and put Alan Wake here as well. But yeah.
Alan Wake.
Best fighting game, we got Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl 2, Mortal Kombat 1, Street Fighter 6, Pocket Bravery, God of Rock. I gotta go with Street Fighter 6 over Mortal Kombat 1. The rest of it, why are you even on this category? But who bought Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl 2 first of all? Who bought it?
I heard that the game was good, but also it was probably in comparison to the first one.
Yeah, it's clearly a Street Fighter versus Mortal Kombat category, which is fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would
The
say
next one?
Street Fighter over Mortal Kombat in this category. What do you say?
Yeah, Street Fighter. I think. Some of the I feel like Mortal Kombat lost a lot of favor with me when they were just like pay money for a seasonal fatality,
Yeah.
and they had to walk back on that. But it was just like, you made a bad choice. Like, I ain't having it.
All right, best family game. This is the Nintendo category, obviously, but we got Party Animals here, Disney Illusion Island, Pikmin 4, Sonic Superstars, and then Super Mario Bros. Wonder. I'm gonna go with Super Mario Bros. Wonder.
Hey,
Yeah, Super Mario Superstars or Sonic Superstars is another situation here where I'm saying they found a way to put everything on here, bro. Like
yep.
they found a way. Best Sims/strategy game: Advance Wars
Okay.
1 and 2 Reboot Camp, City Skylines 2, and then Company of Heroes 3, Fire Emblem Engage, and then Pikmin 4. Fire
It
Emblem
should have been
Engage for
Persona
me.
5 Tactica, but it came out a little too late.
Yeah, that one came out too late, I guess. But yeah, everybody gets a trophy though, except for Hogwarts. It's everything is here somewhere.
Pikmin 4, I guess.
Yeah.
It feels like the best one out of here. I don't know. Maybe City Skylines too. I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know if we want to keep going. Best sports
Let's
and
see.
racing.
Yeah, we got EA Sports Football Club 24 out.
Excuse me.
F1 23, Forza Motorsport, Hot Wheels Unleashed 2, and the Crew Motorfest. Probably Forza.
Yeah, I will go with Forza. Forza
I
King of
would
the
have
Racers.
replaced EA Sports FC 24 with Hogwarts. No, I'm joking.
I'm surprised Alan Wake 2 ain't in this category. All right. Best multiplayer presented by Discord is kind of strange, but
Well, I guess because of most multiplayer lobbies, they use Discord for chatting. It makes sense.
I don't know.
We got Baldur's Gate 3, Diablo 4, Party Animals, Street Fighter 6, and Super Mario Bros. Wonder.
Yeah. Baldur's Gate for me.
Unfortunately, it's gonna be Diablo 4.
Excuse me.
Party Animals or Baldur's Gate 3.
Yeah.
I guess is what I would choose because you get to still do like a D&D adventure, but with a full party. Baldur's Gate 3 was probably gonna be Diablo 4.
Yeah. I would have said Baldur's Gate, but yeah, Diablo 4 might win. The next one, so we went over this best adaptation. That's what I had. Most anticipated game, I guess. So Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Hades 2, Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth, Star Wars Outlaws, Tekken 8. I think Tekken 8 is probably the most anticipated.
Same.
There's a strong case for Final Fantasy VII for a few people, and Hades. I can't say the same for Like a Dragon and Star Wars.
They haven't shown enough for Star Wars Outlaws for me to even know what it would be about. So, yeah.
All right. Content creator of the year. This is where I got snubbed. So no, I didn't get stubbed. Yeah, we can go past that. Best esports, no. Best esports coach event, no. I guess that's all of them. I apologize for all my coughing. We got run out of footage. Let me just say this real quick. I am not watching this show. I will watch the trailers probably as early as that same night or maybe the next day. Because I collect some of the trailers to represent for my favorites of whatever is going to be coming out, especially the indie stuff. Whatever is going to be coming out, I will wish list whatever. I'm going to present whatever I wish list. I don't even really care who wins all the stuff. We'll report back the actual game of the year, maybe the action game of the year, and maybe a couple other categories. If there's a funny moment, like another kid rushing the stage, maybe we'll talk about that.
I hope somebody rushes the stage and be like Justice for Hogwarts.
Or do some like Bret Hart kind of thing, or what if they all jump the guy? I guess I don't know.
Well, what if like presenters show up wear like full on like the Harry Potter robe, like the Hogwarts like robes, like full dressed up?
That joke is so silly. Yeah, I think that it was still a very cowardice move for them to do that. I think that it shows that they lack some integrity, and it also shows that it's not about gaming at the end of the day. It's politics over performance. I don't appreciate that,
Yep.
because that game is a little too big to be ignored. You know what I'm saying? Especially when in so many categories, nobody is missing. The only thing you could probably say is missing is sports, right? Like Madden and WWE, AEW. I didn't see that. I didn't see a Call of Duty game. I didn't see FIFA, right?
Yep.
Sports and Call of Duty was missing. But
Well, no,
when
FIFA was there. It's just called Football Club now.
oh
That
well,
was that EAFC thing.
oh well, yeah, okay. Well, if we skip some of those categories, technically that's where those some of those games will come up anyway.
But yeah,
But
don't call
like,
it.
yeah, Hogwarts is way too big to ignore. It just tells me that politics is bigger than the performance.
Yep.
And if you have any ties to anybody that is not like accepted amongst a certain group of people, then we're going to blackball you. And how do
Uh,
you blackball the biggest game? That was just goofy. It was goofy.
Came out in February. It still holds the record for being the number one best-selling game all the way through September.
Yeah. Goofy from the industry, goofy from Jeff Keighley, goofy from everybody who's like behind the scenes, who do way more journalism than they do gaming. Don't
Yep.
turn the difficulty up like at all. We had to make arguments for some of these people because they wanted to review everything on easy mode. And then none of you can actually play the game on IGN for some reason. And these are the people who get to vote on this stuff. So I'm just like, fine. At least for the people who play the games, you got a much bigger list of stuff that's gonna get added to your backlog. Hogwarts is $30 at Target. Some of these other games, there's not to take away from a bunch of other games. I know I picked on Alan Wake, but I honestly feel like Alan Wake was in a lot of categories that just looked like a band-aid. It really
Yep.
looks like a band-aid. And don't get me wrong, when I get around to it, and I will get around to it, I will play the game. I will represent the game as fairness to itself, like way past the awards time, so that I can give you an accurate, like, how I felt about the game, just like some of the old ones, right after Control, because I'm playing it for what it is. I'm not going to call it a band-aid for something else, right? And I do still plan on playing Hogwarts myself. Co-host already played it.
Oh, yeah.
Great game. We can move forward. Last topic is gonna go really, really, really quick. Did you watch this? The Nintendo Direct, Nintendo's Indie Direct. Did you watch that?
I think so. I watched. It was like the Indie World
Yes.
Showcase. Yes, I
Yeah.
watched that.
So for me, it really was only like 2, 3 things that I liked. I only wrote them down because I felt like I didn't need to go over every last game. Was I'm pretty sure the main game stood out for you was the same that stood out for me, which was Blade Chimera. I think that's what it was called. Oh, Blade Chimera. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It was Blade Chimera. Very hot 2D sword and gun action game. It will be a timed exclusive on the Switch coming in 2024. You can still wishlist it on Steam. That's where I wishlist it, but it's not going to actually be available when it's available on the Switch, right? It's going to come a little bit later. Biggest game that I saw that I liked. One thing that I thought was interesting was their leading game. The first one was Shantae Advance. There's a bunch of Shantae games on PC already. It looked like, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, it looked like it was a husband and wife situation.
Oh yeah.
Where they was just like, okay, we got everybody back 20 years later to finish this a Game Boy Advance game that's not going to be on the Game Boy Advance.
Yep.
And it was kind of funny because almost every previous game that came out had a much better visual presence, where this was like quite literally a Game Boy Advance
like
game.
the Game Boy Advance game. Yep.
I was surprised because I'm like, this is during the same month where Super Mario RPG is coming out. And like they, put a fresh coat of paint on that. Maybe they could
Like
do
when
it
I
with
was
this.
watching this, I thought it was showing like the older game and it was going to be graphically like just changed and everything, and that never happened. And I was like, oh okay.
But that's another game that I did say for myself, I will probably try at some point, along with a lot of the other Shantae games, because I have a lot of them already wish list.
Okay.
So those two. How do you feel about Blade Chimera? How do you
Now
feel
it
about that?
looked interesting. It wasn't like I need this day one, but it looked
Yeah.
interesting. It looked cool. But that was the only one that like caught my attention. Everything else kind of seemed meh. Like
The
I'm sure it's
last.
somebody's cup of tea, just not mine.
Yeah. The last thing that I saw that I liked, was it was more of a like a game that they showed in very very rapid pace at the end called Braid. Do you remember that?
Yes.
That was on PS3, I believe. Actually, you know what? Was there anything else before this? Is like the last thing.
No.
All
There
right, my
wasn't,
calls
at
didn't
least
care
not on
about
my
any
end.
of it.
Like it just none of them really caught my
I'm
attention.
sorry.
And then yeah, they ended with Braid, and I don't know, like I won't spoil it for you, but because I kinda already know
Yeah.
the premise of the game, it's just like meh. Like for me. But that doesn't remove from the fact that I think Braid is a good game. For sure. And if you don't know what's going on, it's a great game. Uh
So I put it as a highlight, but that was one of the games that I actually tested the PS3 emulation on this PC that I'm on right now. And it's like one of the games that don't require that much power, so it runs fine. But I didn't actually play through it yet. But I don't have no problem getting probably a PC version of it if it runs better. But the emulation wasn't that bad. I just know when I saw it, that was the first thing I thought of. But yeah, for the star of the show for me was Blade Chimera. That was pretty much it. They had a whole bunch of other stuff that came out. I was just like, okay. But as a show, the down points unfortunately was still the dev interview portion, and I don't want to just keep like picking on dev interviews and some of these game like showcases, but for a bulk of it they weren't even speaking English. It was like a lot of subtitle things.
yes.
It got to the point where in the second half of the 20 minutes I just kind of like fast forward through it, because they was talking. It was like a whole lot of subtitles, and then when you went back to the game, then they dubbed over somebody else talking about the game in English, and I was just like, well, you might as well just had that part. I didn't need to hear the other part. So that drove it down to me. It was still quick. I would say it was more of like a 6 out of 10 as a show for me. Still a nice variety of stuff. But I really only liked Blade. I will take that trailer and use it again later for my list. Still working on those type of videos. But that was it. How would you rate this if you rated it?
I feel like they're like 5 out of 10. I don't know. They did talk a lot. And, like, a lot of subtitle stuff. But like personally, it was just nothing really interests me that much in there.
Yeah.
But I mean, presentation wise, they did the thing. But yeah, 5 out of 10. Like a little bit less talking, a little more gameplay.
Well, I guess that's it for the show. I apologize to everybody that I was sick throughout this show. I powered through it as much as I could. I tried to mute almost every time I cough. I couldn't mute it every time, so I apologize for it. Big long show, way too much stuff that was going on. Probably won't be this long next time, and I should be in a much better condition next time. 7 days from now, 6 days from now. So yeah, other than that, enjoy your Black Friday sales. Please, as weird as I'm saying, spend more this time around, because I honestly believe that this is technically the last time you're going to see these type of deals because of the physical gaming market changing. Starting next year, it's possible we might see Amazon go from the good guy to the bad guy, because they quite literally get to dictate physical media, and I'm really interested to see how that works. But right now, definitely take advantage of the deals. I do think also around Christmas time you may see some more liquidation type deals, because I think they want to get rid of as much physical media as they can, because from their reports, this was Walmart, Best Buy, they were saying at the start of 2024 they don't want to sell this stuff no more. So I can imagine like it's gonna be pennies on the dollar too, because it's just gonna be sitting there like junk. Like the $5 bins really did look like that. So it might be a $1 bin. But we'll see. We'll see how it is. Other than that, leave a like on this video, subscribe if you haven't already. I will catch you next week. Peace.